Hello and welcome to this new video. We are going to set up the Azure DevOps CI/CD for this application. In the previous video, we have seen how we deployed this application to the Azure cloud via the published profiles directly from Visual Studio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these published profiles because we don't need them anymore. So they are deleted successfully. What I'm going to recommend is to install Git and locally in your machine and then create an Azure DevOps account. So I have already created an Azure DevOps account. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call it Simple App Web, and then it's going to be a private repo, and then I'm going to keep the version control Git and work item is agile, and then click create. So the project is created. If I go to the repo, I can see that I have an empty project. So what I need to do right now, I need to go back to Visual Studio, and then I need to click on add to source control. So once you click on it, you will see Git. So now what I need to do is just I need to click on the Git, and then I need to connect to my repo via the Azure DevOps. So I will click Azure DevOps, and then I will see the organization. Then I will choose the project, which is a simple app web, and then I will call this repository as a simple app web repo, and then I will click create and push. The repo has been created, web, and then I will click simple app web repo that I just created, and then I will just refresh it again to see my files. So my files are here. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up a pipeline, create a new pipeline, and then click on use the classic editor. Then I will use the Azure repo get. So this is the project name, and this is the repository that has all the application files, and this is the default branch, which is a master branch. I will keep it as it, and then hit continue, and then I will search for .NET Core. This is .NET Core. I will hit apply, and then I will see all the tasks I need to run the build. Our application doesn't have any test project, so I will remove the test task. I will disable this one, and then I will make sure that I have the right agent, which is Windows 2022. I will select that. So I think I'm good to go. I will save this one. And then I will run Q and then run. So with that in place, so the build pipeline is building right now. The build pipeline has been finished successfully. I will go to the pipeline here and then click on this pipeline, and then I will do edit. I will do two things here. So I will change the name to give it a proper name. So I will remove the ASP.NET Core. I will keep it simple app web CI continuous integration, and then I will go to triggers, and then I will enable continuous integration. With this option here enabled, so I will be able to make changes on my Visual Studio, and once I committed my changes, the build pipeline will build automatically. So I will save this for now. Then I will go to the release pipeline. In the release pipeline, I will click new pipeline, and then I will choose Azure App Service Deployment, because I need to deploy the application to the Azure cloud because I'm using the Azure App Service. Then I will name this development as a development stage. You can name it whatever name you want, but because we are using the development environment, this is going to be the development environment that we need to use to deploy the development configuration. So then I will add the branch This is the pipeline that we just created, which is taking the latest from the master branch. So I'm gonna add this one, and then here I will enable the continuous deployment. So once the build is finished successfully, we are going to trigger the deployment to the Azure cloud. I need to go to the release pipeline here, and then make sure that everything is configured correctly. Here I need to choose my Azure subscription, and then I need to click here to choose the app service name. I will choose development. Then I will save and then create a release. Perfect. So the release has been finished successfully. So if I go to development and I open development here, so I need to click on the URL link to take me to the hosted application. So the application, it's deployed, but we don't see any differences because we haven't changed anything in the code. So let's go in the code and change something in the appsettings.development.json. Commit the changes. Perfect. The code has been pushed. So what we need to do right now, we need to go to the release pipeline. Go to the pipeline, and we can see here that the pipeline has been started automatically. The reason why, because we configured that to enable continuous integration with this checkbox here. So now we have the pipeline. It's running right now. Once the pipeline finishes, it will trigger automatically the release pipeline, and the release pipeline will be triggered automatically because we enabled the continuous deployment trigger. The build pipeline has been finished successfully. As we can see, it's finished. Also, the release pipeline is finished successfully. The only thing left now is that we need to see if the changes that we made, in our local application has been reflected to the development environment. So let's just refresh that, and we need to see that the change here. So we can see this change, this DevOps CI changes, they are coming from the changes that we have made in our local application. So the only thing again that we need to do is to go to the pipeline and add a different environment, which is going to be staging and production. Let's do that right now. I'm going to click on release, then I'm going to edit, I'm going to clone this, I'm going to call that staging. Now we need to configure that to select staging, and then I'm gonna call that staging CD, and then I will clone another one. I'm gonna call it production. Then again I will come over here and then make sure that we are on production. I will make sure this is production. Then I'm gonna save this. So let's say we want to make changes in production. We say this is DevOps CI changes for prod, and same thing for gonna be for staging. All right, perfect. So just we need now to push changes. Now we will see that the pipeline gets automatically triggered to run. The build pipeline has been finished successfully. Now if we go to the release, so we can see that development has been finished successfully, and then staging is running. So if we click on that, you can see the pipeline. Here we go. So staging, it's running, and then once staging is finished, we're gonna run the production. Perfect. Staging has been finished successfully. Now the production is queued. Now it's running. All the environments has been built and deployed successfully. Now we need to test each environment and see that the changes we have made have been built and deployed successfully via the CI/CD. So we need to verify the production and staging. I will open up the link for production. As you can see, this is DevOps CI changes typo here for production. So which means we are taking the changes from the local application. And then we have staging. We should see the same changes that we have made locally. Here we go, DevOps CI changes. Then there's another typo here for staging. That's perfect. So we are taking the changes locally, and we were able to build and to deploy all the changes via the Azure DevOps CI/CD. So thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.